go ahead and begin this morning in prayer. We thank you, Father, for this day, for the opportunity to come into your house, gather into your blood of all people, to worship you, praise you. Thank you for what great things you've done for us, to praise your holy name, to consider your greatness, your glory, your majesty, your power. We thank you for being our God, for saving us. Pray that you would direct our studies this morning in Hebrew, that you help us to know more of the language you have revealed, your Old Testament, that we might be able to better study it, understand it, that we might know more of your precious word, walk in its light. Pray that you be with your servants who proclaim your word this day in places of worship all across the earth. Pray that you would anoint their preaching, that you would convict the lost, save them by your grace, strengthen your people in the most holy faith. We pray all these things in Christ's name. All right, so last week we considered the construct state, and opening up this lesson, I want us to consider a verse from Scripture. And I have it written out here if you need to move forward some. It's too far away. I try to condense it so it would all fit on the board and would be super low. Let's just do some basic review here. What letter is this? The consonant. Yeah. It's Vav. What's the next one? What's this consonant right here?
Good.
Good. What about this one here?
Hey.
The hey?
No, good.
Alright. What about this consonant here?
Bad.
What about this one?
Good.
Yep, very good. He kind of angular. What about this one? What about this consonant? What about this consonant?
She.
And this consonant?
Hey.
And this consonant?
No. Hey. Text.
Ted. Yes, very good. Alright. So what about this vowel here, underneath this vav? What's that? It's a patah, yes. And then we have a shava here. Underneath this yud. Is that a silent shava or is that a quiescent shava?
Vocal.
Vocal shava. Why? How do you know it's a vocal shava?
There's no vowel before the.
Actually, there is a vowel. There's a patah. You're right the first time. Because there's a vowel, it's va-yeh-he. Va-yeh-he. It is a pronounced shava. What I really want us to consider in this verse is I want us to look at the construct state. We'll kind of review some from last week. There are multiple construct states in this verse. Does anybody know where one is?
Your mic's not on.
The mic's not on. Here we go. All right, button on top, brother-in-law?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just press it. Do I need to hold it or just press it?
Is there a light on?
There's no light on it.
Press and hold.
There we go. Green light. Very good. Thank you, Rebecca. IT crew back there. Hope they get paid well. Okay, so there are multiple construct states in this verse here. Anybody see one right offhand? Construct state. If you get your papers out, that's fine. Review your material that you've written down from previous weeks, that's fine. I want to encourage that. Even in my translating, when I was having to translate a number of passages for seminary, I was always going back and forth to what I'd written down, to notes I had made, helps and pointers, and that's fine. Don't be ashamed to get your notes out. All right, the first one might be kind of tricky. That's what the root word is, but we still have our definitive construct state in it. Second word in the verse. We have our sere yud at the end of the word. That's almost always going to indicate construct state. Now, vayahi, the word here, very common word in Hebrew. It's a verb and a conjunction verb. it literally means that it came to pass. It came to pass. We have preposition bet. We haven't got the prepositions yet. It's okay. In days of. You might remember the word. I'll write it down here for you. Yom. We had yom a little while ago. Yom. This is a common word as you read through the Old Testament narrative, especially in days of, or in the days of. It doesn't look at all like this. You've got the yud, the holem is completely dropped out, been replaced by the sarai, and then you've got the final form mem that's now still mem, but not final form because the yud is now the caboose. So we have in the days of, and literally in the Hebrew, and it came to pass in the days of the judges judging, literally in the Hebrew. Might give you some idea where this text is coming from in the Old Testament. So that's a common construct statement to be aware of. Be may. In the days of. Used all the time in the Old Testament. When you read your English Bible, that's going to come across in the days of. It's probably the Hebrew behind it. So that's a common construct state to look out for. And one that kept tripping me up until I got used to seeing it. Because I'm not thinking Yom is tied up into all this. But that's one construct state you want to make note of and learn. Alright, anybody else see a construct state?
Second to last word.
Exactly. Second to last word has another one. Right above Yom here, we have another preposition bet. And we have another construct state. The root word there, spelling it right, is actually the Hebrew word for field. There it is. The Hebrew word for field. Sadeh. Sadeh. Hebrew root word behind this construct state word here. Now, we'll just read the last line in the Hebrew. To sojourn in fields of Moab. That's the last line in Hebrew. We have another construct state, another preposition bet, which is preposition suit. We have the sarai yud standing out for us. Let us know it's a masculine plural construct state of the word fields. Fields, sadeh. Oftentimes, very oftentimes, the het at the end of a Hebrew word, we're going to see this in a number of different cases as we move through Hebrew. The het's going to drop off the end. The het's a weak consonant. He falls off the end all the time and gets swallowed up by other suffixes. So we have those two construct states. We're still not finished. There's still one more construct state in this verse. Give me a hint. It's not masculine plural. So don't look for Sarah either. We did.
The fourth line of verse.
Exactly. Very good, Ms. Jones. That is construct state. This one's cool. It's a masculine, it's a feminine plural. Bait. We saw that last week, that same word, which is the word for what does it mean in English? Bait. Bayit is the Hebrew root. It means house or household. Bayit. So, we have literally in the Hebrew from Bayit, lechem. Bayit, lechem. Does that sound like anything in English? Bethlehem. Exactly right. It's Bethlehem. House of bread. That is the Hebrew word for bread, consequently. If you're collecting vocabulary, there's your one for field, and there's your one for bread. Lechem. Bread. House of bread. So you see how the construct state works there. We've got the of, in days of, judges judging, in fields of, Moab, from house of bread. or as we transliterate it, Bethlehem. So you see, there's the construct there. This is from Ruth 1:1, by the way. Opening up about Elimelech's. And it came to pass in the days of the judges judging, it came to pass famine in the land. And he went, a certain man from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn in the fields of Moab. That's the first part of Ruth 1:1 in the Hebrew. So as I was reading through my Hebrew Bible, I thought, wow, there's 3 construct states in less than a verse. This is not all of Ruth 1:1. I thought, I'm going to put this up there, and we'll see if we can play a game, spot the construct states. So there you go. There's one verse where construct states are coming up with regularity. I believe I mentioned this last week. The most common, at least in my reading of the Hebrew text, is the masculine plural. It's going to pop up fairly often. So there's construct state in action in Ruth 1:1. Now, I want to give you one more graph, I guess chart's a better word, of some Hebrew words that have special construct state forms. And if you don't have these down and make a note of them, it can be tricky in reading through the Hebrew text or translating to notice the word there. I made a note of them when I was learning construct state and had these to the side, and I was always returning to this list because the words for man, woman, they have special, son, daughter, they have special construct state forms that look so different from the words that we've learned for man, woman, son, daughter, that I think it's worth taking the time to go ahead and write those down. You can make a list of them. If you happen to have purchased Moshe Greenberg's Introduction to Hebrew, they are on page 36 of Greenberg, a section I highlighted and returned to frequently. Go ahead and write these down for you. Special construct forms. Okay. So, for man, y'all remember the Hebrew word for man? Ish. There you go. Hold them up there. Okay. Ish. Hebrew word for man. Now, in the construct state, sometimes you will see ish repeated with what's called a makef. Mr. Farrell asked about Hebrew pronunciation. You'll sometimes see what's called a makef. It's spelled M-A-Q-Q-E-F. And when you see that, at the top, bar at the top, if you're reading through your Hebrew Bible, you're going to see these babies all the time. That's letting you know ish is in construct state. Same spelling there. But for the plural of man, men, we have some changes taking place. The plural form for man is anashim. There's your plural form for man. But that's still not the construct form. Construct form for man, the masculine plural construct form of man, men. Men of David's men of renown. construct statement. Right there. Unshaved, 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 unshaved. The Hebrew construct statement. Masculine plural, men. The men of, again, construct statement, we'll put that of there, men of. Now, we have,
Okay, can I ask you a question?
yes,
So this is construct, and also with the line above is also construct?
that's the singular
That's
construct.
single.
The singular.
And this is the plural.
Yes, exactly. This is a plural. The singular form is going to remain ish, but it's going to have that makef above. Yes. So that's going to let you know when you see the word ish and the makef, to let you know that the singular man is in construct state. So there's the plural form. The masculine plural, Sarah, Yud, regular, no change there. For woman, y'all remember the Hebrew word for woman, Isha. We have a sheen. What kind of dog is in Isha? What kind of dog is that? Will be doggish forte. When it comes to the doggishness, the first question to ask yourself, is it begatted fat? Is the doggish or the begatted fat letter? If the answer is no, it's doggish forte automatically. It has to. If you ask yourself, is it begatted fat or not? The answer is no. You know it's forte. If the answer is yes, the next question you ask yourself is it preceded by a vowel? So, okay, if it was a begatted fat letter, we go, oh, vowel in front of it, must be doggish forte. If it's at the beginning of a word, which is frequent with the begatted fat letters that appear at the beginning of a word, that have doggish in it, you're going to know, oh, it's lenient. There's no vowel before it. The previous word doesn't count. There's no vowel, it must be doggish lenient. So that is a doggish forte, Isha. Now, for the feminine singular construct state, it does have its own form. Sorry, the writing is small, but it's not so much problem for you guys. I go eat fast food, I have to lean on the counter and read the thing up at the top. Print this thing is so tiny print. You got 173 items up there. Okay, there's the feminine singular form for woman. Also, this is frequently seen with the makef as well. You'll see the feminine singular will include the makef in the Hebrew Bible. Yes, yes. Most of the time, this was going to have the makef. Not, I don't know what the percentage is all the time, or not, but it does include the makef with regularity.
With the second and the top? as well?
This,
Yeah.
yes. The makef, when you see the makef in the Hebrew Bible, there's always going to be a word connected to the end of it. I think of it more as a, how do you term it? Maybe it's letting you know that those two Hebrew words, there's some connection being made between those two, whether it's a verb and the object, whether it's a subject and a predicate. There's some connection going on. Usually the context will make it apparent. Makef is not always synonymous with construct state. Don't want to make that error, though it frequently is. The context will almost always make apparent the Hebrew plural for women, or the Hebrew term for women is plural of woman. And then in construct state, this is going to be a little bit funny. It actually takes a masculine plural. The shed. The shed. It sounds like very simple, very different from Isha, Nashe. There's a woman. And
Why does it take masculine?
it has to do with the consonants, the sheen. It has to do with the hay dropping off and the sheen, assuming some role there. I'm not exactly sure why that is, Ethan, but I can research that and let you know later.
Is the second consonant a sheen?
Yes, it is a sheen.
Okay.
You just missed it. There we go. Good catch. It is a sheen and not a scene. Good catch. So, Nashe. So those are ones you want to keep at hand because they're going to be used some regularity. Again, if you bought the Greenberg's book, he's got those on page 36. That was a page I went back to often because those do appear. And you look at that and you go, Isha? Isha? How do you get that from Isha? And so that's why in translating it can be tricky when you come to those kinds of words that are very much inflected from their lexical form. It's just helpful to have a sheet nearby that just goes ahead and tips you off as to, oh, this is the feminine plural in construct state. You have no worries. You come to words like that, and then you keep going back and forth in your lexicon and haven't come up with anything that will let you know what's going on there. He also gives you the terms for father and brother. Those are pretty straightforward there. So we're going to jump ahead now to article in Hebrew. I want to cover the article in Hebrew. And I mentioned before, Greenberg actually covers the construct state in chapter 6. And in chapter 5, he went over the article. I went over construct state following the noun sentence because of their similarity. But I suppose following Greenberg would have been fine. But now we're going to go back and pick up the article in Van Pelt's little book, The Compact Guide. He covers the article on page 18. So he covers the article fairly near the beginning of the book. So the article is one of those things that in the Hebrew is very, very simple, but it's frequently dropping out definite article. Again, like in Greek, there is no indefinite article in Hebrew. So when the Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door and say, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was a God, don't know their Greek. They've got their own Greek translation, it's a pile of rubbish. There is no indefinite article there, it's the Word was God, always was God, always will be God, amen. So there is no indefinite article, there's a definite article in the Hebrew. The definite article is this. It's going to be a hay, not a head. Shave a little of that down. It's going to be a hay with patah. It's going to be your definite article in Hebrew. My English go everywhere because I don't have the graph up here. So the article, frequently hay with patah. Depending on the words that follow, it's going to change quite frequently. So the article is not standing by itself like we have the word the all by itself. It's always connected to another word. It never just stands off by itself. You'll never see just a random hey in your Hebrew text. It's always going to be connected to another word. Na'ar. Anybody know what that word means? Boy, lad, youth. Hana'ar. Use our definite article. What does that mean? You want to translate that for me?
The boy.
The boy. The boy. The boy. Now, when the article is joined to Hebrew nouns, dagesh will sometimes appear. In this case, dagesh forte.
14.
Forte. This is preceded. It's not begat fat. It's preceded by a vowel. Definitely dagesh forte. So, hana'ar, the lad. That is the standard form of the Hebrew article. When the Hebrew article has a guttural following it, especially aleph or resh, so we use the word for man again, the article, the vowel lengthens. So we have Haish, the man. Now, the pronunciation didn't change. You remember from very early on, Patak comments have exactly the same pronunciation. The vowel has lengthened as a guttural, forcing it to lengthen. Again, remember I said we learned the gutturals. Gutturals are going to force some changes in words. They're going to take those funny pataf vowels that we've looked at. They're going to bring about changes in things. So where there are gutturals, there's going to be some mischief going on there. So in the presence of an aleph or a resh, so the definite article is going to lengthen from pataf to a comma. Let me tell you, definite article is in almost every sentence in Hebrew. It's everywhere. It's inescapable. So you're just going to be looking at words, and you're just going to see that, hey, oh, it's definite article, definite article, definite article. We'll just give you some more examples of the vowel changes that take place. Underneath the hey there, but you're going to see the hey and think, oh, that's definite article. Especially if you've got your vocabulary. We're going to get some vocabulary too here in just a minute. The more vocabulary you have, you're going to see that everything following the hey, oh, that's the word for sea, that's the word for song, that's the word for man, that's the word for bread. And you're going to see that article and think, oh, it's a definite article, obviously. I've got the noun behind it, it's a definite article. In the
Will you pronounce that one more time, like the bottom one?
Haish, the man. In the presence of the guttural item, there's a word up here. Let me give you a vocabulary word with bonus. Ear, the word for city. We have that word in English is what we hear with. Ear is the Hebrew word for city, spelled this way. But the pluralization of cities, in the Hebrew is spelled this way. There's cities, and in the presence of an ayin, the vowel underneath the hey lengthens to a segel from patah. So het arim, the cities. Het arim. So you see the definite article, and when we get into predicates, which I don't have time to cover today, the attributive adjectives, predicates, we'll see some ways that the definite article slides out of existence. It usually leaves its mark in the form of dageshes in the presence of other conjunctions and prepositions. But we'll cover that, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, just establish that a hey at the beginning of a word is a definite article. There's one verbal system, the hifil, which is the causative, which shows forth God's sovereignty in the Old Testament. The hifil is going to have, in the third masculine singular, is going to have a hey prefix to it, but it's going to have certain other consonants that are going to tip you off its hifil, plus it's going to be verbs only. These are nouns. Meaning, regardless of the vowel that's underneath, definite article. Check your linear after you translate if you're confused, but it's almost always, there's nothing else that the hey could be, so it will be the definite article. Unless it's a proper name that starts with a hey. If it's a hifil and you thought it was a noun and it was actually a verb and it was in the hifil tense, then these things can be confusing. But you see a hey, beginning of the word, automatically think definite article, definite article, definite article, definite article. And this reinforces what I mentioned last week. Think of reading the Hebrew in terms of the consonants. It's not that the vowels are not important, they are. The Hebrews, like what we mentioned earlier, they type their newspapers, all their public printing is without vowels. We were looking at some chips yesterday that we had, and on the back of the container it's got those Pringles, they got Hebrew, and it's all consonants. There's no vowels on the back. And I could read some of it, some of the words I wasn't familiar with. I'm not even sure if they're in the biblical vocabulary. But think of the hey, definite article, and regardless of what vowels appear, look at the consonants. The vowels can oftentimes let you know if something's dropped out. That's more often going to be indicated by the presence of a dagesh. But see the hey, definite article. This is your basic definite article, but it can take other vowels as well.
Can it
Now,
take,
go ahead.
like I's and U's and stuff like that?
I suppose it's possible that it could take a kibbutz. It will not take the shurek or the holden. I've never seen it with the kibbutz in the Hebrew Bible, but I believe it's possible that it could take.
But it's like extremely rare.
It would be rare. In the hundreds of words I've translated in Hebrew, I've never come across a definite article with the kibbutz underneath. But it does take patah, komets, segol. Might take the seri. I don't remember one with the seri either. These three are going to be the most common. That's a good question. Good question. And I was going to mention something right before you asked that question. There is a hey that will appear at the beginning of a word with a patah vowel. This one's very important. When you see that, that is it's got a long name, it's really simple, the interrogative particle. What does interrogative mean? Questions being posed. It's an interrogative particle. Very important. That's not a definite article, it's an interrogative particle. Hebrew has no question mark like we do. No question mark in Hebrew. So the way you know a question is being asked, interrogative particle. And it's always, always, always going to have patah, patah. So that will let you know that a question is being asked and it's not a definite article because it will appear at the beginning of a sentence in the Hebrew. So you see that? Don't translate it as an article. You're going to come in the verse and go, it sounds like somebody's asking something, but it doesn't make any sense grammatically. Patach, and a hey is going to be interrogative article. So I want to mention that too. Now, the last few minutes we're going to close with some vocabulary. Don't want to minimize vocabulary. I brought my box for a couple of weeks. I was going to show you guys the vocab cards. If you're serious about learning Hebrew, and y'all are pretty regular attendants, so I'm assuming that you are, or perhaps you just used to be here at the 9 o'clock hour. Anyway, the vocab cards that Zondervan puts out that are actually done by Dr. Van Pelt, the same fellow that did the Biblical Hebrew Combat Guide, as well as the Basics of Biblical Hebrew, the textbook. He's done a box or so, 1,000 cards, 1,000 cards. And the first 400 or so, pretty common words used with some regularity, especially the first 100. I definitely recommend getting those. If you're serious about learning Hebrew, they will help you. Or you can make your own with the words we go over here. That's fine too. Pastor Carl made his own. When he was in seminary, carried them around. Mine gotten worn out, dog-eared and stuff. All right, vocabulary. Anybody want to take a stab at pronouncing that word? Gadol. Maybe blocking the vision of song. Gimel. Comments? God. Dalet. Whole long. Gadol. Big. That's the word for big, large, great. Very important word. When we get to predicates, this one's going to be popping up again. Much less common spelling. We'll see it with the shortened hold, like that. But learn it with the full hold. Just be aware that it sometimes appears with the shortened hold. That's big, large, great. We also have
Eved.
exactly. So I would take the initiative there. Eved. That is the word for slave or servant. Eved. Very important word. It's going to pop up again and again and again. Eved. Slave or servant. Next we have this one. Y'all have probably heard of the Hebrew phrase Rosh Hashanah. Shana, the Hebrew word for year. Rosh, incidentally, is first. First, top, chief, head. Head is in the beginning, not head is in the body part. Shana, year. Shana. See, there's another hey period at the end of the word. That's all the time. All the time. I love those hays at the end. And the beginning too. Definite article. Another, this was really simple. Shame. Shame. It doesn't mean anything like our English word for shame. But it sounds just like one of our English words. It means name. Shame means name. It's a pretty easy mnemonic device. Shame name. So, I am the Lord, that is my name. Shame appears fairly often. Shame's an important one. Matter of fact, it appears 864 times. All right, next word. We'll close it with this one. This one's got two forms. But really, the word itself has one form, and then it becomes a name. Somebody take a stab at that one.
Adon? No.
Adon. You're close. Adon. Full hold. Adon. Sounds like another word y'all are probably familiar with. I'll put that one down here for you. Which vowel we put there?
Adonai.
Exactly, it's the Lord's name. Adonai. The word means Lord. This is capital L, Lord. This is Jehovah. This is, and Sarah called her husband Abraham Lord. Or when they address kings and stuff. Lord. I'm glad that habit has fallen out of use. I wouldn't want my wife calling me Lord. Okay, it's just fine in the 21st century America. So there's Lord, capital. There's small Lord for just a title or you're addressing somebody. Put that up here. So there you go. I don't, nay, I don't. We'll wrap that up. So there's some vocabulary words. All right, so we saw the construct stated action. Got introduced to the definite article. Grabbed some vocabulary words along the way. So, all right, any questions? Some questions. All right, we'll let those in prayer. Father, we thank you for the time we've been able to spend together. Pray that you would grow us in most holy faith. Pray that you would strengthen the faith of your people, restore any who are backslidden, save any who are lost. Draw us ever near to yourself. Pray that you would be with Pastor Will as he comes to preach the word to us, that you would fill him with your Holy Spirit, write your word upon our hearts. We pray in your Son's name. Amen.